Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of the latest episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Meet the New Boss, and I really enjoyed this episode. It continued the trend of what it was building on in episode 1, and I'm kind of looking forward to where this season's going to be going with all the supernatural elements that they're introducing. So, it started off kind of reintroducing us to the entity that we have glimpsed in the last episode, that kind of ghostly woman, and she's kind of going around in this house that actually used to be hers. And she's kind of scared this one kid and touched and went through his father at one point. And at first, they're trying to look at it logically. Oh, it could be a being through another dimension, kind of acting through different ways and all that. And Mac's like, well, it could be a ghost. And kind of like trying to figure out what's going on with these things and what their kind of goal is, or what they're trying to accomplish, if they're trying to accomplish anything, or what's happened to them. So after that kind of cool encounter, we kind of see what's going on behind the scenes at S.H.I.E.L.D., as well as seeing Daisy kind of trying to figure out more about Robbie Reyes. Well, she takes her van in, kind of ingratiating her way in, kind of dropping all these things that she's able to find out about him, and you can kind of see him kind of getting ticked off and everything, doing all that he's doing, trying to fix her van and all that, and she's breaking it just as he's fixed it, which was kind of funny. But her, like, dogged approach to doing this without truly comprehending and understanding what Robbie truly is kind of like, you're really outside of your element here, Daisy. I mean, you've dealt with Inhumans and all that. This is a whole nother matter, and it's like, us as comic book fans, we kind of understand that the Ghost Rider is kind of an Omega level hero. He deals with like some pretty insane stuff. I mean, the devil, heaven, hell, all that kind of stuff, as well as other extra dimensional things, and even being able to take on like the Hulk. That's some big stuff, and seeing Daisy kind of thinking that she can strong arm the Ghost Rider is kind of funny, but also kind of like, you're playing with hellfire and it's gonna burn you. And we kind of see that as Robbie's boss leaves to take a car or whatnot on his own errand, and she pretty much threatens his brother. We know that Daisy wouldn't do anything that bad, but this is Robbie's brother. He has probably done a lot to protect him, alluding that he has sold his soul to the devil. Now, granted, it'll be interesting to see what if they go with the devil, like actually like Satan or whatnot, or go with Mephistopheles, who's usually known as the devil in the Marvel Universe and the comics. It kind of gets a little bit weird, but I kind of like that they're taking that kind of approach. Granted, it's different than Robbie Reyes' comic book origins, but I like that they're kind of fusing him with Johnny Blaze at this point, because it then gives him more of a direct connection to the Ghost Rider title and everything, and we could eventually get a Ghost Rider kind of, hopefully, series or some kind of thing on Netflix, hopefully, because I really like what they've done with the Robbie Reyes character. I mean, I like what they were doing in the comic books, but what they've done on the show has been really effective, in my opinion, kind of slowly revealing his motivations and everything, and showing his kind of dogged approach for vengeance and all that, and how it's both him and the entity of the spirit of vengeance, which Daisy doesn't understand at this point, but it's kind of cool to see that. So, she of course pushes him too far. He then, everything's alone. Everybody's kind of gone. They're kind of in their own thing, even though it's broad daylight and people should be able to see some stuff. He kind of keeps it low key, hellfires a wrench, and like kind of goes after her, and she really doesn't really have any defenses against his kind of power. He's kind of built to take hits, and he's built to dish them out. So she like tries to throw a car on him, and he just takes a part off of it, lights it on fire, and then just like punches her out. And he's going through to figure out what she's trying to do, see if she deserves to be killed, because that's a big thing of his. He goes after people who deserve it. It's not like a random kind of thing, even though that's probably kind of what she was thinking of. And she's trying to connect all this stuff with the Watchdogs and the Inhumans. She at first says that he is an Inhuman, and he's like, no, he shoots that down with the whole selling his soul to the devil and all that. And I'm like, yeah, what Inhuman have you seen that can turn into a fiery ghost kind of dude, like Skull and all that? That's even outside of the Inhuman wheelhouse. So they kind of get all into that. He's got her all tied up, going through all this stuff, talking to her about what she's doing, seeming like that she's got a death wish, and that kind of looks that way because she's jumping headlong into situations that look like she wants to die, because I think she thinks when she's putting her friends and her colleagues in these positions, it's her fault that they've died, even though, like with Lincoln or those before, they have chosen their courses of action, and unfortunately their deaths have resulted. And I think she's trying to do that. And as that's going on, Robbie kind of makes the connections, like the Momentum Laboratory, and it's like, oh god, they're going after that. I gotta go. That's somehow connected to him. And as we see in the SHIELD part, they've started making that connection. Fitz and Simmons are looking at the box and kind of seeing that there's like weird stuff in it and weird ways as the light reacts. That it's kind of like a ghost capturing box to a degree. Or we don't know if they're truly ghosts or if they're like astral projections or like the astral essences of these people. Because as that's going on, we see that the woman that we have been following, Lucy, goes into the Momentum Laboratory in Pasadena and starts unlocking the rest of her companions. And they were going after this book, The Darkhold, for power. And it's like, that sounds like a dark magic book, and that this one person, Joe, kind of screwed them over for many years. And their main objective now is to try and get that back, possibly try and fix themselves. And of course, there's infighting along that lines. One of the other ghost people tries to blow up the reactor facility at one point. But it's interesting to see what's going to be happening with this group, if it's going to be going any further or whatnot, and what effects the Darkholds might going to have on S.H.I.E.L.D. and also Doctor Strange going down the line, because that's, of course, in the preview of the Sorcerer Supreme, Doctor Strange. And that's pretty cool. Cool that we're going to be seeing repercussions that are going to be affecting a movie down the line in the show. So they've kind of made the connections on that, and Fitz and Mac go on out and they're like, oh, we'll check it out and all that. And Simmons stays back because she's got to help with the tour that the new director of S.H.I.E.L.D. is doing. And I gotta say, he's not really that bad. I'm kind of interested to see more about his character, because he doesn't seem like an outright bad guy. He doesn't seem like he's trying to be antagonistic towards the core S.H.I.E.L.D. group that we've been accustomed to. He's trying to help. He's trying to make S.H.I.E.L.D. more public image and all that. We get some talking with him and Coulson, because May has been going kind of crazy and seeing people's faces since the Lucy apparition has touched her, and she went nuts because she was talking to the one guy that was in a cell, and he started beating the crap out of his own head, and she starts fighting the rest of her strike team and Coulson, and the new director comes in, pretty much puts a stop to her, and that's a big thing. May is one of the best, pretty much on level with Black Widow. And he comes in, she's punching the crap out of him, done nothing, and he just picks her up, bops her head on a wall, and he then confirms that she's Inhuman, and that he was picked because, well, Steve Rogers has gone AWOL, so Steve would have been like a big pick to be the new director and be the public face, and evidently he's got a history with the U.S. government, so it's kind of interesting to see where they're going to go with his character and learn more about him, because he could take some stuff. He could be a hands-on director, and I'm kind of interested to see how he's going to be helpful to the rest of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and all that, and specifically with like our core S.H.I.E.L.D. group that we've got, because he's been helpful with May and Coulson asked what he was going to do with May, and he's like, well, see, that's why you picked me as the director. I can be objective with this. Don't worry, it's classified. We'll help her. It looks weird, though, because she was strapped down in a Quinjet, and that leads to some interest. That we'll see where that goes, because she's going nuts. We've never really kind of seen this side of May before. So then we get kind of towards the end of what has been going on in Pasadena. Fitz and Mac get into the building, which the one apparition is set to pretty much explode, and he locks Mac into it, and Fitz is trying to like open it. It's like, holy crap. And that's when Robbie and Daisy show up, and Robbie saves Fitz from being touched by the apparition, and he actually touched him and used his power to burn him away, pretty much. We don't know if he's dead or destroyed or whatnot, but it shows the power of him. And then he like walked off, took off the picture so that he could hunt the rest of them, supposedly, and walks on out. Daisy's able to shoot open the reactor, Fitz is able to turn it down, and they had their talking moments because Mac was helping her with her hands and all that, and then he puts the two and two together that she's already got the medicine that he would give her, and that Yo-Yo's the one that's been doing it. And Fitz even called her out because he's like, well, of course we can't help her because she doesn't want us to help her. And it's like being stupid that way, and I loved how Fitz pretty much called her out, and I'm like, yeah, exactly. And then she, of course, walks on out, and Robbie then pulls on up and says, okay, I think I'm connected to all this, and this could be happening because of me. So, hop on in. So now we kind of got these are going to be our new kind of buddy cop pairing at the moment to see what's going on in the Bring. This hopefully will get into a point where Daisy will realize that her death wish is stupid, and that she needs to go back to S.H.I.E.L.D., and that'll be the way to bring Robbie kind of either into S.H.I.E.L.D., or at least have him allied with S.H.I.E.L.D. to fight these kind of supernatural threats. And it kind of ended there, and I'm kind of interested to see what's going to be happening in the next couple episodes, even though we've got to wait a couple weeks for that. But I really like what they've been doing with the Supernatural and Ghost Rider, and I can't wait to see how like Fitz and Simmons kind of deal with these like supernatural questions, because it looks like Mac's understanding, because he's like, well, it could just be a ghost. And that he can separate like these scientific things from these supernatural things. Like they're just distinctly different things that you have to deal with. Like if you were dealing with it in Supernatural, you need rock salt, lines of salt, and iron to take on ghosts. Sometimes you need different tactics to take on different things. And I think that's going to be pretty cool to see how S.H.I.E.L.D. adapts to these kinds of threats. So those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.